Walt Disney had shut down many of its lucrative operations to help slow the spread of coronavirus. Disney has made significant decisions during the crisis, such as going to the debt markets and suspending its dividend. With the reopen, Disney is hoping to put the pandemic behind it and move forward. So, is Disney stock a buy? Let's take a closer look. Shanghai Disneyland opened back up in May, and tickets were bought up in an instant. In the US, the company announced its plans to open Walt Disney World and Disneyland in July. Additionally, Disney's Mulan and Marvel's Black Widow will come to theaters this year. Disney's ESPN is working on plans with the National Basketball Association to resume the NBA season. In other words, Disney plans to start generating revenue, cash flow, and profits. Disney Plus seems to be popular with 54.5 million subscribers to its streaming service as of the latest update. The company launched its service in Japan and is planning to offer services in Belgium, Luxembourg, Portugal, and Latin America later this year. It has been reported that Disney Plus may reach 75 million subscribers by the end of 2020. In 2018, a Disney World ticket cost $119. Back in 2006, the same ticket cost $67. That increase hasn't slowed visitors, and there's always seems to be long lines and waiting times. With Disney's popularity, prices can be raised to reduce attendance in light of the lingering questions with coronavirus. However, the company also has the power to raise prices without losing attendance. Risks from another spike in coronavirus could delay some of this progress. However, Disney has enough going for it that investors with a long term horizon should consider an investment in Disney. So let's now take a look at our charts for Disney. And today we're going to look at two charts for the Walt Disney Company, and the symbol is DIS. For disclosure purposes, I do not hold any shares of Disney at this time. Two charts. The first chart here we're looking at is the 20-year monthly chart. You see the bottom there in March. From that point, we had a pretty good rebound up to $114.35. Now, that's about halfway back from the top here. Perhaps not as good as some other companies. However, I don't think that's a problem. I think that might be the opportunity. Moving down here into volume, looks good. Down to the MAC. You can see that both the fast line and the slow line are above zero, so there's still some strength. The fast line is starting to curve. Hopefully, it's starting to form a base, a bottoming pattern here within reach of the zero line. It doesn't have to be above it, but within reach is fine. Moving here into the histogram, you can see it's a rough start to a bottoming process, but I think it is beginning. In here to the price rate of change, also not all that clean, but still I think it's going to happen here near that zero line. Moving into the relative strength, it's at a moderate 44.49. We have the bottom and a fish hook up here, but it is within reach of that midline or 50. In here to stochastics, much the same there. Perhaps a better bottoming process, at least by what that shows. And then in here to the Williams, you can see that the fall to that point there was nowhere near what was in 2009 or even 2011, consistent with 2015, 16, and then 2018. So I don't think things are as bad as perhaps the press makes it out to be. Back to the price chart, one last look. Now let's go to the weekly chart. And we're looking now at the 2-year weekly chart on the Disney Company. And I wanted to go to the weekly chart because I think this is going to be a better timing mechanism than the monthly chart. And simply looking at the price chart, you can see here it looks like a topping process is beginning. Not 100% sure, never are, but I think that's what the probability is. No promises, but I think the probabilities indicate a topping process and maybe a little bit of a contraction, and I'll show you why. Here, volume looks fine. Here, the MAC, you can see that the fast line is starting to decelerate, and the slow line is continuing on up. Hopefully, they'll continue on up and gain strength up to that zero line, but in the meantime, You can see here that the histogram also shows a potential topping process here. Let's go to the price rate of change. Just a little bit of an indication of slowing down in that fast line here. Moving on down into the relative strength, that gives us a better idea. Looks like that's a topping process, perhaps a little bit more evolved than some of those other oscillators. And then down here into stochastic, it is showing perhaps a little bit of slowing down with that fast line. Hopefully it's going to do something like this here. It's going to take some time in that topping process, but I think that's what's initiating here in the last week or two. You can see also in the Williams the same thing here. We were in that overbought territory above that -20 to that 0 level, but we've come down. Now, it's possible we can do some more sawtoothing, but I think the general trend is on its way down. That's where I figure the probabilities are. And so if I was considering Disney, I would just watch and wait a little bit, see if those probabilities do bear out, and in the meantime, conduct your due diligence with the fundamentals. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.